Hey guys, in this video we're going to be talking about smelting recipes. So again, as before, if you want the quick and dirty, there it is. Take a pause, screenshot, that's what you need. So basically now we're going to start explaining what the heck any of that actually did. So the first thing, just like before, we're going to, basically for optimization purposes, we're going to first create some variables. So we're going to be using a lot of wool in this example. So we'll do that. So we're going to create black wool. So that's a block. So we're going to go to blocks.wool, specify the quantity of 1, and because it's black, that's metadata 15. So again, that's the item in the first parameter slot, quantity in the second, and metadata / durability loss in the third. And here is a good, up here, URL for metadata and IDs and things like that. So we can see down here, metadata 15 is black wool. So the other thing we're going to be doing is creating white wool, which since it is 0 slot, we're going to be doing that next. Let's see here. Okay, so now that we have our black one, we have to create our white one. Again, item stack wool stack white, and we're going to create a new item stack. And this is going to be the same as above. Blocks.wool, 1 quantity, and 0 for metadata corresponding to white. So that's just our stuff that we've talked about in the last video more, so we're going to jump right into it. So now we're going to do game registry, and nice and simple, add smelting. And just as before, this is the input first. So we're going to, I guess it makes the most sense to do smelting is going to turn white wool in to black wool. And so those are the first two parameters. That's input, then output, and then this third parameter is a float. So what a float is basically it's decimal, it's binary decimal representation in the system. So we do something like in vanilla they're going to range from 0.1 to 1.0. I have experimented with higher numbers. They do not work. In my experience, there might be a different way to do it, but in my experience, all I have found to work is the 0.1 to 1.0. And again, like I said, in vanilla, that's all that the range actually allows, or at least not allows, but was there. So used by default. Now, what this is saying, this is per smelt. So if I were to set this to 1.0 and put 5 pieces of white wool in there and smelt them all to black wool, I would get 5 experience because it's 5 times. This is the individual pullout. So when I actually take that stuff out of the smelter or the furnace, this is what I'm going to get. Now you'll see right here, and this is intentional, there will be an error right here, and I'm just doing this just to really make sure you remember this. This is a float, which means you have to cast it as a float. In Java, there's 2 ways of doing that. One is an F. The alternative is to do the precasting. Obviously, that's much more cumbersome. Adding the F to the end is nice and simple. But that's what that means, is that you have 1.0 and you're casting this as a float. So right here, we can save this, open up our game. And again, this recipe is smelting white wool into black wool. So we'll load up our single player here. And the first thing we're going to need is a furnace. So we'll put that in our first slot. Next, we're going to need some coal. Get rid of the sunflower. Put that in our second spot. Finally, we'll need some white. I think it's just called wool. We'll need wool. Okay, so we'll go here, put our coal in our slot, white wool, and you'll see it starts smelting. actually, I'm going to go to game mode, 0 for this. So you can see, watch my experience down there. You can see it down there. We gained 1 experience. Again, 1 experience. And yeah, so like I said before, nice and simple. Pretty. We'll wait for this one to finish so you can see. If we withdraw 2 at once, now, well, it's failing. There we go. Took a little bit, but here you saw 2 ticks gave us there on that one. Very simple, very easy to do. Okay, so just like before, we're going to add 1 more item to show you that this. So we've just experimented a little bit with metadata. Now let's experiment with durability. So let's do sword stack golden equals new item stack, and these are just you know, these can be, since these are variables, you can name this anything you want, like you know, cats, and let's see, we need to do, what are we doing? Items, golden sword. So golden sword, and again, quantity, let's do 2, and golden swords have durability of 33, so let's take about half of that, so 16, and so this is the take damage away. So now if we were to copy and paste that, first let's change this back to something more readable, so like sword stack golden, and what we'll do is we'll take our black wool that we got from that, put that in there, and we'll change this to 0.1 because this was meant to give you no experience whatsoever. Okay, so while that's loading, now obviously black wool is obtainable normally in the game, so it's not so much of an issue. But for example, suppose that you had created your own item that was not in the game, there could be an example of chaining. So you would have had to require, again, we're assuming black wool is not in the game, you would have had to make first the black wool by putting the white wool in, then you put the black wool back in the furnace, and as that smelts, then you would get 2 swords. Perfect. Okay, so let's do one more example of something that is stackable. So let's say item stack diamond, and we'll do items dot diamond item, and we'll give you 32 of them because that's ridiculous and that doesn't make sense for diamond. There's no metadata for that. So now we could take a golden sword and convert that to diamond. Okay. So the first thing, how did we set this up? To the golden, no, black to the golden sword. Okay. So in this case, what we have here is so we've got our 32 diamond. Now you'll see what's actually happening there is because we specified the damage at 16 right there, the or the durability loss of that golden sword. You'll notice that a fully fully durable golden sword will not produce this recipe. However, if we take our 16 out of 33 durability sword, the recipe completes as it would expect. So that can kind of go two ways. One, it's a word of caution. If you intend that to happen, it will happen. So if you want something very specific, such as like a 800 durability diamond sword to be able to convert into, I don't know, obsidian or whatever, that's how you would do it. You can do that precise specification there. That because we're inputting this particular golden sword, but again, quantity doesn't have any bearing on it, but durability does. If you have 16 right here like we did, that requires a 16 durability golden sword to produce the diamond. If we were to remove this, put this back in, now our golden sword object is defined naturally as the as just a normal golden sword. When we go back to this, we can put our golden sword in, and you can see that this is going there. And what do you suspect is going to happen with the durability? That's right, nothing. Because again, we didn't specify what specifically that is. Our recipe is for a fully repaired golden sword. This does not meet the requirement, therefore it does not meet the recipe specifications. This, on the other hand, does, and therefore it will. So in the same sort of fashion, this is explicit. If you specify durability, that will play into a role down the line. So just a word of caution. It can be used intentionally, but if you're having issues like that, check that. Make sure that you're actually doing that properly. And that's pretty much it. This is almost exactly like recipe crafting, so really not much to add there.